first off, this is episode 53, laying pipe with the 54, laying pipe with the PVC crew. You know, I got my boys with me, Paul and Vic, of course. Paul, before we continue, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? Tuning in to episode 54. Shout out to everybody who got up this morning trying to grind and make it. Same here for the boys on the table. Beside that is just another lovely day sitting here at the table with my boys and everything. So I'm going to pass it on to my boy Victor. Vic, say what's up to the people.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be back here again with my brothers. Episode 54. We're going to be talking about a few certain topics today. Some of them could be a little controversial. Some of them can be a little humorous. We do hope you enjoy what we talk about today. And as always, we are grateful that you join us this time around again. We are grateful for any reoccurring people, and we are grateful for any newcomers. We hope you enjoy the content we have for you today. And as always, praise the Lord that we still remain on this earth. Cameron, take it away.
Facts.
Indeed.
You know how I be, Cam, a.k.a. Mr. Nerdboy Fresh.
Freaky!
Who follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. Definitely a privilege and an honor to be rocking with y'all. Of course, thank you to all the 60 subscribers that we have. And if you're just tuning in with us and you have not liked and subscribed to the page, please do. It definitely helps us out. And even if y'all don't want to do that, y'all want to wait and see what type of content we have, we appreciate y'all, sticking around with us. We definitely consider it an honor to do what we do. Shout out to my boys as well. It's always an honor to have the boys on the table. I never get a chance to say it on cam, but it's always good to have Paul and Vic since the time we've been doing this from jump. Man, boy, shut up.
You know this, it always comes from Cam.
About Cam's a man.
Nah, I just do what I do. I'll be dead honest with you. I know everybody says like, oh, well, you're this, you're that. But no, I just do what I do.
Man,
but
caramel, human form.
I don't know my caramel part. I'm more like I'm more like semi-sweet chocolate. It's cool. Shut up.
He Mentos, the fresh maker.
Mentos. So I'm just what am I? The pearly white ones, the one that get you minty fresh.
See, me, I'm just what would you do?
What would you do?
Right here. We got Klondike over here. Then right here we got zebra bars.
Really? This is what we doing? This what we doing? Zebra bars.
Woo!
Zebra bars. Comedy, boy. Comedy. Comedy. But anyway, let's start right here since we were talking about cereal.
Before we get into that, we gotta give condolences. We just lost one of the iconic Jim Brown.
Oh yeah, I was gonna address that on the
I had to say
second.
that first because he's he's one of my childhood heroes. Me growing up, because I watched all his movies as a kid.
What did he pass away from? Do we know? Just old age?
Yeah, he was 87. So he, the one thing is he lived a long, good,
great football player.
Great football player. He really, made his mark in football. But he was one of those guys who was able to transition what he did on the field, off the field, and he did it really well. He was definitely a good activist as far as like
who you saw was who he was.
Pretty much, and he was a real one. He would actually go out into like neighborhoods and really talk to like
and the stuff that he went through in that time and era.
He really put that on display, and he really didn't sugarcoat a lot of stuff. And he was one of those ones you're gonna like me or hate me type dudes, but he was well respected.
But he was just his platform. That's basically what it was.
But he was a good dude. He was just one of those ones who was respected.
And then growing up watching his movies, oh my god, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was one of mine.
Honesty can get you far.
Original Gangsters.
OG was really good, and he was in a whole bunch of stuff. He was in Any Given Sunday, which he was really good in Any Given Sunday. I liked him in that. He was in a lot of good stuff.
But I always thought him and God rest his soul, Isaac Hayes was related because they always, stayed in similar.
It seemed like they ran in similar circles. Yeah.
But shout out to him and shout out to his family members.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Prayers and condolences go out to them and their family, of course. So it's like I said, it's funny because every single episode seems like we're leading off with somebody who's been prominent, who's passed away, which it sucks. At some point in time, we got to at least stop this. But I know life and death is like a daily cycle. When you get babies who are born, you're gonna have to have people that pass away to kind of put balance in.
And he lived his life to the fullest.
Yeah, 87 is living, full. When the Lord says it's that time, you already know what it is. It's that time. And for him, hopefully he's, in a better place, of course. But, when the Lord says it is, it is. Anywho, back to my cereal conversation. Y'all were trying to talk about this Captain Crunch.
Yeah, were you forced to eat it with water?
Wow. He hit me with the Friday. There ain't no water. There ain't no milk. Put some water on it.
Put some water on that shit, boy. All right, I'll eat it. He said.
Wait a minute. Was it Captain Crunch he was eating in the movie?
Captain Crunch.
No, I think that was it?
No, it was Captain Crunch. That's a fact. No, he right. It was Captain Crunch.
That's why I brought it up.
I thought it was King.
No, it wasn't King. It was Captain Crunch. He was right. I know it looked like King, but it was actually Captain Crunch. That's funny. That's a fact. All right, so
that was a massive bowl too.
This dude didn't bring out a little baby bowl. This dude brought like almost a flowering pop bowl.
When you want to eat cereal, you gotta eat.
Nah, there's eating cereal and it's like dog.
And then he didn't get a little spoon. He got
the biggest. Kool-Aid. He got the big the Kool-Aid mixing spoon to eat that thing. Better put some water on that. So, what's your cereal of choice?
Well, for me, there's two. For one, this one's like a dessert. Fruity Pebbles. That's like a dessert cereal right there.
Fruity Pebbles.
But a real cereal that I like is the.
I'm not even gonna start with you right now. I'm not doing it.
But the real cereal that I like that I would just eat for breakfast or whatever is probably what's it called? Oats and almonds Cheerios.
Oats and almonds Cheerios. Actually, I don't know if I had that one.
They got oats and almonds, and I only got a few others like that. They're really good. They're also expensive.
I'm gonna have to give that some run though.
But they're actually really good. But for like dessert, like Fruity Pebbles with like some whipped cream on top, that's like a dessert right there, dude. It's really good.
That ain't a cereal. That's a whole full snack.
That's a dessert, man.
Fruity Pebbles
he threw whipped cream on it.
With whipped cream. Dang, that sounds like a TikTok video in the making.
I mean, it takes a few days off your life.
Apparently, because I'm thinking that's a lot of sugar.
When you go to the toilet, it's gonna.
Yeah. That's gonna go right through you. It's gonna be like.
That's not something I would eat very often. That's why I call it a dessert. Not a meal.
Whipped cream and Fruity Pebbles. Okay, I can rock with that. What's
the other cereals? I would say is my actual cereal, which is what was it again? Oh yeah, Oats and almond Cheerios.
Okay. Talk to me. What's your cereal choice?
And what about you, Paul?
I'm cooking for Cocoa Puffs. That's my
this
cereal.
one here.
Yeah.
Always the black stuff, boy.
Hey. That's been my childhood.
I'm surprised this man. I'm surprised this man didn't say Count Chocula, boy.
Give me that, and then some Flintstones Cocoa Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles?
No, Cocoa Pebbles.
Oh yeah.
I'm in there.
I can't rock with Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah, them two right there. That's me. But outside of the box, I like the almond wheats. Honey oats, but the almond.
Oh, the honey bunches of oats
Honey
with
bunches
almonds.
of oats.
Yeah. No,
I like the roasted one, and then like the almond one.
No, honey bunches of oats.
No, honey bunches of oats I can rock with.
Yeah,
I can rock with that.
And then for my grand finale, I would say Cookie Crisp.
Man, this man like all the sweet
Man,
cereals. Cookie Crisp.
Apparently, I'm old.
Okay, if I had to throw it out the box wise, I'll say Tricks.
Okay.
Again, all.
At least you got some color now.
He started off with Cocoa Puffs.
Because honestly, like when I was growing up, trust me.
How do you still have feet?
Listen. When I was growing up, cereal was a shit in my house. Okay. If you had, I heard what he said. That's why I heard in that laugh. But growing up in the house, you had Cocoa Pebbles, you had Frosted Flakes, you had I
can't do this right now.
Tricks, and then you had the cereal in bags.
That's a good choice.
Oh,
I'm probably gonna get a test on that song that movie just said.
I believe you alone. I believe you alone. I believe you alone. Oh, I believe
Why
you
you think I
alone.
But beside that, yeah, that's all me right there.
He's stupid.
What about you, man?
Apparently, I like old people cereal, like Chex, O's,
Apple Jacks?
Raisin Bran.
No, I don't eat Raisin Bran. No, because you know we gotta. I'm gonna keep it all. You know, and not because you know they look like other stuff. No, I'm cool on Raisin Bran. Nah, the other stuff that you don't want to.
It's like that in sugar snacks.
Nope. Chex, O's, and honey bunches of oats is cool too. Those are just
really good too. Yeah.
And that's kind of, that's just me. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I used to always eat the sugary stuff, like the Kicks and, Kicks not really sugary, but, you like the Cocoa Pebbles, stuff like that. But I quickly, I didn't even eat Lucky Charms. You want to know why? Because I don't like marshmallows.
That's fair. I always thought it was a bit of a weird combination.
Yeah, I never liked marshmallows.
It's just the crunch.
But when I was young, my mom was like, "What cereal do you want?" And I'll be like, "Oh, get me Chex or Crispix." Because basically they're one and the same. The only difference with Chex was just one flavor, but Crispix was crispy times two. They have corn on one side, wheat on the opposite side. And that's how I would do it. Like I said, I'm old, and I probably ate like an old person when I was a kid, apparently, because as soon as I started doing that, I never really ate. Shut up.
Every sentence. I'm just old.
I know. I've been saying that a lot, but I am.
Give him his bowl of cereal. He's probably like, "Here's your cereal. Here's your laxative."
Cam grew up in an era where the TV was black and white.
I did not grow up in it.
Watch 2, 4, or 5.
I did grow up in that era.
See, he had the antenna.
I did grow
hole in the wall.
I did grow up in that era where you have to get up and move the antenna. I did grow up in.
Can't move to the left.
Yes, I was in that era. I was in the era when I had to actually get up to turn said channel. 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11.
Oh, you pulled a blank man, so you.
Yeah. I was in that era, and that's why it's funny because it's always tough when watching TV back in the day, because once you got set on a program, you left it there. You didn't get up there and be like, "Well, let me turn and see what's on for." You just let you just let certain channels rock. So, but the thing is, when it came to TV shows, I got one for you. So, what happened at 11 o'clock from 3 o'clock? Back in the day, that's when the stories was on.
Ooh, don't mention that.
No, man. Let me tell you something. When the stories was on, you could not touch that TV. Stayed on either channel 2, channel 4, or channel 7. Now, the only time that they would let you turn from 2, cause they'll watch Young and the Restless on channel 2. And then they'll watch All My Children on 7, and then they watch All My Children, General Hospital, and all that led up to Oprah at 3 o'clock.
You hitting him hard with the memory.
No.
He's not lying, because I BS you not. Around that time, it was All My Children and One Life to Live.
One Life to Live and General Hospital. And if you touch that,
those 2 shows alone, you cannot touch that.
Right, and then you touch that TV between 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And I'm telling you the reason why I said that, because you had All My Children, One Life to Live, General Hospital, and then Oprah came on at 3. Then so you was basically stuck till the news came on.
Do you know how mind-boggling it is now that back then, if you missed an episode, that was it?
That was it. And the thing about those is that you don't even get a replay of them joints.
No, but see, the funny thing,
you literally have about those, you can buy it.
Yes.
No, a funny thing you mentioned that though, because literally between that era and just based on the show All My Children, everybody knew that show by heart. Even if you missed the episode, then you can walk in the grocery store and be like, "Oh, hey,
you know what happened?
All My Children." Yeah, this happened on this episode.
Erica Kane did this.
Is that era where you were able to record?
Yeah.
No.
VCR and
yeah.
If you had a VCR, the answer is yes.
So you were able to record.
You could record it, but see, this is when people were start buying. This is when blank VHSs were thing, because they were before they had DVRs, you had to pop in the VHS, be home when it's there, time it, and do it. Now, then Sony and them got smart, and it was you could do an automatic set. So you could set your VHS to record at a certain time, so you didn't have to physically be there to start it. And so they would set the little timer at 12 o'clock, and you'll have like 4 hours of stories, commercials and all, by the way.
No, it's crazy. It's just that this wasn't that long ago.
No, this was like early 90s.
You know what's so funny though?
It's terrifying.
I kind of miss those old shows. Just on a standpoint, because it's like you think about it. All My Children, One Life to Live, General Hospital. And if you see those shows like now, I mean, only show I can really say had some run, which was good, were Grey's Anatomy, and then
Well, it's because back then it was just a more wholesome America.
More importantly than that is that the shows were talking points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like what you just said. If you missed an episode, you could pull up at work the next morning and be like, hey, yo, did you see All My Children? And the conversation would be a 30-minute conversation about what happened on that show. It was a talking point.
But you lived it. It felt like you was actually
right, because they were so engrossed in
everybody was involved.
Yeah. Because you were so engrossed in the show, and that if you didn't watch it, you felt bad because you didn't have nothing to talk about during your break or lunch. That's how crazy it was.
Many days, and God rest my grandmother soul. As many days her and my other grandmother who lived next door to us always talk and say, hey, you see,
they would call their aunts and like, did you see this show? You see what Erica Kane did?
You couldn't watch anything except this until that goes off. That's why just sit there and just watch.
Nope. You know what happened? No. Here's what happened. Go outside.
That too.
And don't slam my door is what happened.
That too.
And so your butt went outside because you knew if you stayed inside, you wasn't watching no TV, and if you decided to stay inside, you were subjected to watching that. And guess what the kids started doing? I want to go outside. Cool. Sit here and watch this. And, Mama, and certain times you did. It's just that was the era back at that time. So that's when. When they said kids were outside, that wasn't necessarily by accident. It was really because they didn't have much choice in the matter. Because here's the honest answer. Most households didn't have gaming consoles. You may have had a couple of you may have had a couple of households that may have had that, but here's what happened if you did have a gaming console. No, that was part of the conversation, but that wasn't really the conversation. The conversation was you ain't playing no games until two things happen. One, make sure your homework is done. Two, you ain't watching until after all these shows that I want to watch is done.
It's three. Make sure your homework done.
And make sure your room is clean.
Make sure the chores is done.
Yep.
And after I watch my stories.
And after you watch my stories, then you can come in the house and then you can come into the house and play for an hour. Then it'll be like 6 o'clock. I want to watch the news. Get off the console. You still playing Mario Brothers? These are real life conversations here. And that's literally what happened.
Turn the game off. We gotta watch Fresh Prince or Martin.
Well, yeah, but see, you couldn't play all day because your parents wouldn't let you. Because they say, well, gaming will rot your brain, gaming will rot your mind. And come to find out,
it's always been a stupid conversation because that rots your mind. Well, if that rots your mind, then TV would as well. Which, I mean, in all intents and purposes, both do if you do it way too much.
Right.
Amen to that.
But that's how it was back in the day. So when you said like, yo, was it like that? Yeah, it was definitely like that back in the day.
Sit up there and watch stories with my grandmother. I go get a bowl of cereal.
And sometimes you would watch the stories, literally just be like, well, I'm just gonna hang out with mom. Let me just go watch this for a little bit. And then your friends come to the door.
You want to play some basketball?
Just come outside.
Ride your bikes.
Then they'll be like, go play with your friends. Go play with your friends. Now for me, it was a little bit different because I wasn't. My mom was always working, so it wasn't really a thing for me. I was just really when I was like hanging out with my aunts.
Man, you just touched something right there too, because I seen that show since I was a kid or one of my teenagers. But that show alone teaches you a lot. So
what's that?
All My Children.
Well, there's a lot of shows that actually, really broke it down. I mean, a lot of shows that you watch were intended to do a lot of teaching. I mean, really a lot of relationship type stuff.
Well, back then, shows, even cartoons, were the whole thing was they were to teach a lesson.
Right.
Well, that lesson would vary in quality and how the message was conveyed would be different. But at the end of the day, it was more than just telling a story. It was more to tell how to handle situations.
Right.
Right. Especially when it came to situations of race.
That was one of them.
It was one of the most prominent ones back then, and they used television in a very clever way to handle it, showing how to not handle it with violence, but to handle it in a more civilized way.
That is correct.
As to essentially, the only way to destroy violence is with peace.
Right.
It takes one to put down the weapon.
That's true. And here's the other talking point. You touched on something earlier. It's like, this was the talking point back in the day. Now, TV shows aren't really talking points like that anymore. You may get a handful of things that may be a talking point from time to time, but really, the only couple of things that we really talk about, like real talking points. Wrestling, because it's been the one thing that's been consistent from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it's been really consistent. But there hasn't been like all my children. The last time we had talking points was what? Game of Thrones, maybe. Sopranos, maybe.
But think about
Power if you watch stuff in the hood. But even then, you only could talk about that with certain people. You couldn't talk about that with everybody. I could talk to you about Power, but you may have never seen Power. I may talk about you about Game of Thrones, and you may never seen it.
Like you just said, back then, what was on everybody's mind? It was All My Children, One Life to Live, Regis and Kelly.
But all those shows were everything was a talking point.
What? Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer,
Jenny Jones,
all Oprah, her giving out stuff. All those things were told you, like when you came to work, those were the things you talked about. Now you know what we talk about. Did you see Matt Rife on a TikTok video? 30-second clip.
Why you bring up Matt Rife?
Because the reason why, that literally was a conversation piece yesterday.
That's my dog.
No, great comic. I'm just giving you an example of like this is the talking points now. You don't have TV shows as talking points. Martin was a talking point for a period of time. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a talking point at certain points. It wasn't like that every week.
All entertainment is just a form of escapism.
That's true.
It's just mostly mindless fantasy designed to distract you for a prolonged
Right.
period of time. Most things nowadays don't provide a solid lesson, if you will. Back in the past, but it's just a form of, okay, you've killed about 5 hours. I hope you enjoyed your fantasy run.
Right.
Back into the real world, which is not a very healthy way to live.
Or when we started doing reality TV show stuff, they started seeing how some of these celebrities were living, even though it was kind of like falsified. And they started like, well, this was the lesson. We need to learn from them because they're showing how we do things,
Well, the name is ironic because it's so far from reality.
Right, because what people don't understand is that what they are as celebrities, and you're right, is not regular, if that makes sense. Watching the Kardashians, watching the Osbournes, watching, certain people do their thing on reality TV, that's not right. They're not in a regular format. They're not doing regular people stuff.
On top of that, like I said before, it's another form of fantasy escapism.
Right.
Because they watch that and they fantasize, well, if that was me, this is what I would be.
Well, they see the reality blended into what they portray, and they be like, dog, well, I could do that.
I think the sad thing is that a lot of entertainment nowadays robs people of the beauty and purpose of reality itself, as the real world has much to offer, and the real world is far better than any fantasy out there. Because
Right.
you could be a part of it. But choosing not to be a part of it results in you wanting something else, and then you fall into this pit of... It's like a ball pit, essentially.
Right.
You jump in there and you're splashing around, but nothing's really getting done.
That's true.
It's just time being wasted away versus going out into the field and building something.
And
that in itself can be fun over time, but in the end, you've done something with a value. And it's sad that so many people look at fantasy and they let it rob them of the beauty and splendor of the world. This is a God-created world.
Fact.
These are God-created people. This place has a purpose, right?
Right.
And the purposes are for the glory of God and for the good of those who trust Him.
Exactly.
If you trust in the Lord and you do the work of the Lord, this life can offer you much.
You made a good point. You got a good point. And I got something for you too. You made a very good point. A lot of people get caught up in, well, let me kind of see it from the background. Let me just kind of watch it from afar and not thinking that I could actually do certain things. I could actually, they watch YouTube videos of, people working out, for example. Why are you watching somebody working out when you could be at the gym doing it yourself? It's not hard. Just get up and be involved. Do it. I understand like seeing somebody like, oh, well, I need a little bit of inspiration to do certain things, but it's translating that into dude, if this is your fantasy of what you're trying to be, you can actually create your own lane.
But the problem is,
and I agree with you wholeheartedly with that.
But see, a lot of people live their life based on fantasies.
Oh yeah, and we are, and this is where we're going to get there in a different discussion.
This
in a
ties
moment.
into perfectly what we're talking about.
Yeah. This is literally how we're going to get into the other thing. But a lot of people, they do, because they see a certain thing, or they see a certain aspect of life. They see certain ways, and they think that, well, I hope that that's me. I wish that that's me. But they look at it from afar and be like, well, I can never really obtain this.
I think one of the problem with modern day man is that the greatest desire of everyone is comfort. That's also their greatest downfall. Because when you find yourself in a place of comfort, complacency is born. And when you're complacent, you don't want to do anything because you're already comfortable. What more could you want? At that point.
No, agreed.
Really touched on that.
No, that's a wholehearted agree. That is a Snapple fact.
No, that is a simple fact, and I can test on that because I'm one of those people.
Now,
and what you're saying is
because because he's so right. Because if you're not pushing it, I don't care in what aspect of your life you're not pushing. If you're just sitting, well, I'm gonna sit still because. The only time you sit still is if you're communing with God. Outside of that, you got to be pushing towards something.
This is not to say you can't take breaks.
No.
This is not to say that you have to be running 100%, 24/7, and never stopping. Burnout and crash.
Yep.
Take a time to take a break. The Lord Himself knows humans need breaks.
That's why on the seventh day He rested. Sabbath day. That's not by accident. On the seventh day you rest, which is called the Sabbath day, and that was not designed by accident. Saturday. That was on.
Even the Lord Himself, He designed us. He knows that we need rest. So take time, do take rest. Be comfortable for but a minute.
Right.
But don't sink into the comfort.
That's true.
That's like saying, have enjoyments, have hobbies, whether it's a TV show, reading, video games, or whatever. You can have that stuff. But the problem is when you live for that stuff, that's the problem.
And I think that messes up a lot of people's intelligence and egos because they think about, well, I could have, if I, like you just said, would have, could have. Okay, you should have done this, but what are you doing to make that happen? Mm-hmm. And I think that goes back to one of the episodes we talked about. And Cam tells me this all the time. Well, what do you want?
That's true. Hold on. I was just checking something real fast. I just saw that they were just making like some wholesale changes to my schedule.
Right now?
Yes. I get notifications when they make like modifications or making like wholesale modifications.
Anyway,
Sorry. I didn't mean to. But you are super on point about being stagnant, if that makes sense.
Now, obviously, you want to be progressing in something, whether it's mental capability, physical capability, financial capability, spiritual capability. That should probably honestly take priority.
All of the above is the answer to the question.
Take time, study scripture, spend time in God, praying, growing in wisdom, and applying it to your life. Spend time at the gym, even for an hour, even if you just do the elliptical for 60 minutes.
The messed up part is too, Victor, and I see this happen because I had a conversation with somebody recently, and I told him one of my goals is to go to the opera, and he gave me a look like, I'm going to the opera. I'm like, what's wrong with that? He's like, well, we brothers. I said, first of all, let me explain something. Just because we a totally different atmosphere doesn't mean, I want to try something different and new. There's nothing wrong with learning something.
I got you on that. That's something.
And
true.
I think that's one of the major problems what people have is that they get caught up. Oh, I'm this person. I'm this tough guy. I'm this tough guy. Or I'm not. I would never do this. Or I never do. How would you know?
No, because they allow
themselves to be put in stereotypes.
They put you.
Go ahead. No, this is why I want you. This is why.
A lot of people, and I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. It's gonna, like I said, all this is gonna tie to what we're gonna talk about in a minute. A lot of people close themselves. Closing is a sales term, meaning that the opportunity to say yes or no to something. Typically, they use it in purchasing, but closing yourself off to the idea means that I'm gonna stop myself from doing this because I'm gonna say no because. when you said I want to go to the opera, you're opening yourself to the opportunity. Like, this is what I want to do. This is something different. This is something new in my life. This is something I want to do. But other people are going to be like trying to force that door to close on you and maybe close your mind off because they don't see your particular vision, which is fine. A lot of people close themselves. Like, your friend is closing himself to the opportunity to do something that he wouldn't normally otherwise see. Now, he has to have that within his heart to understand that, oh, maybe the opera is something cool I can see at the opera. There's a lot of different things that you can see at the opera. I mean, they've had any plays from the Phantom of the Opera to like some hood or like some real hood, like street operas. Like, you know, they redid Baby Boy. One time they did stuff like that. They did the whole redo, literally like the movie. They did New Jack City, you know. So and they do a lot of different things. But see, if you close yourself off to the opportunity, you're not expanding your mind in that direction.
And that's something you just said too, Victor. That made me bring it up because people don't take that chance or risk, and they not willing to learn certain not just opportunity. New things. I mean,
we're gonna talk about this in a minute.
Because I say it all the time. You know, I may not be the smartest person in the world, but you know, I'm willing to learn new opportunities. Whatever helps me, you know, build up not just my character, but my mind, or something else. Because it's like we can sit here at the table and talk about this. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know, and a lot of stuff you don't. Maybe it's a lot of stuff, but you know, we all feed off each other. Like, you know what? He might say something like, man, I never do that. Now I want to get more knowledge on that.
I must say, you know, some people may hear this and get intimidated, and I know they're going to pile a lot on their plate, thinking they're going to do all this, and fail to do it because they stacked up too much. Start somewhere, right? Whether it's something as simple as learning a new language, like downloading Rosetta Stone or something to use.
Right. No, but here's what a lot of people stop themselves because a lot of people will be afraid to do that because I don't want to mess up. It's too hard. Why am I trying to speak a different language? They need to learn about me. They close themselves out to that opportunity when they shouldn't. You should learn other languages.
Look, I think one of the best things a person can do is learn a second language.
You know what it is, Vic?
Depending on your area, probably Spanish though.
Around here, yeah, Spanish would probably be beneficial. If most people around here though already speak English and Spanish.
Yeah, I'm saying take one.
Maybe Mandarin.
Mandarin Chinese, maybe Korean. You know, there's a lot of things that you should learn.
There's two languages I always want to learn: Japanese and Latin.
You should learn Japanese, even though it's not as prominent in California. But you should learn it because, especially if you go abroad, it'll be great.
We'll get you a wrestling gig over there. Right?
Yeah, New Japan. Talk that New Japan talk.
Shout out to New Japan because they was out here.
Yeah, that's facts.
And shout out to Sasha Banks.
Mercedes Moné and all them, you know, shout out to them.
But the point is what I'm trying to say though is
learn.
It's just, I'm not saying leaps and bounds here. Some people do leaps and bounds, but I'm just saying progress is progress, right? When something is downloaded, you notice it moves either a few percentage or it moves really fast.
Mm-hmm.
The point is though, it's going forward.
Exactly.
I think what it is, and I'm one of them people, and I will admit to it, is that when you try something and you fail at it, you won't do it all over again. And I think that's one problem people today have, is that they'll try to do something and fail at it and then just stop and quit. Like, oh, maybe I'm not good at this, or maybe this ain't for me. You know.
And here's the thing. You got to be grown enough to say maybe certain things isn't for you. But if you don't take the chance to try it, you're not going to know if it's good for you or not. There's certain things that you don't take chances on, obviously. But there's a lot of things that you should. Like something like going to the opera. Yeah, you should take a chance to do that. Why? Because you need to know if you like that or not. Yeah. How are you going to know if you like it if you haven't sat down for it? Right. You know, there's certain things that... No, but if you don't take chances, then you're not going to know what's good and what's not good.
And the reason why I put that in a scenario, because it was reading, like I told you, I was watching something on TV, a classical show for the opera, and I was like, man, it just crossed, it just caught my eyes. And then, I started saying they had different type of plays and this and that and the other. And then just it wasn't just the play that, opened my eyes, it was just the music.
I know you want to go to an actual, but you could also try with the Fathom Events really test the waters, if you will, see how you like it. Because Fathom Events is always around.
And even then, even if you go to like a smaller version of a place, I always say if you're gonna go to a big one, because you know I can say right now, my mom goes to plays and stuff all the time.
I always wanted to see the Moby Dick play. I always wanted to see the Frankenstein monster play. They had that last year.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but they're gonna do it again, which I'm definitely going.
Sounds like we got
And you don't have to go to like, it doesn't have to be, if you could go to this out here if you're in California, the Cerritos Performing Arts Center, they got plays rocking all the time.
The recent one, and I don't think
Quality
they show them no more. The Nosferatu.
Yeah, you got to just kind of vary and see which one, but they always have some good ones. So
the Nosferatu play. That was one I was going to see. But on what the title what we're talking about is just like, and Victor just made a good point. You know, it doesn't hurt to learn something.
No, whether it's big or small. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and get a few master degrees and all that. I am saying, though, just start something small. Like whether, like Cam said, going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you don't got to start hitting it like a hyper beast. You just got to hit it.
right. But again, I understand the roadblocks that would tell you no. I understand that in certain gyms, it's intimidating.
Or
in certain
cooking.
gyms, it's this. I understand cooking, same thing. I know it's like, well, I don't have the first thing about using knives and cooking. I don't know the first thing about, you know,
I
mixing.
always wanted to go.
Right. But see, the thing is, I had one of my friends go to culinary school. Went to Cordon Bleu. Great at it, you know. But I knew it may not have been necessarily for me. But I respected it and understood that, yo, if I had a chance to maybe learn a little something, yeah, straight. But it may not. But I know. But I'm not going to be the one to be like, well, I'm gonna go to culinary school and be Chef Homeboy RD and all that. I'm not doing that either.
No.
Cam went.
Put your name where it's supposed to be. Chef Nerd Boyfriend. Don't be trying to change it.
The
See,
problem
I
is,
can see Kim.
Cam went to,
I mean, don't
he
get it wrong.
went to
I'm
culinary
okay.
school, but they kicked him out because he just kept making chocolate cake.
That's first of all. That would probably be the fact.
I told you to make spaghetti. How'd you make
Nah,
that?
if he go on what's the name show, Gordon Ramsay, and he chase.
Nah, I would not be in Hell's Kitchen. It's funny. Shout out to my son. He actually went to Hell's Kitchen. He was out in Vegas about a week and a half ago, and he would.
Did he order chicken strips?
No, he went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. He went to Hell's Kitchen, the one that's in Vegas, and he said it was alright. He said it was overrated, but he was alright with it.
Well, it's the name.
Oh, of course, you're going for namesake, of course. But that was like, keep in mind, I think that's the first restaurant that he built when he did. I think it was like season 2, and that the first restaurant they built. Yeah, it's a lot of history in that one. I mean, he got a few restaurants out there, but that's the one where his first winner was the one who got a restaurant. They put it in Vegas.
One of his YouTube videos, I forgot where it was somewhere in the snow, and they went to go catch those king crabs.
I met Gordon Ramsay in real life when I used to work for a company called Micro Center. He came through to the store to do a what was it? It was the forgot what they called it, but they were like doing like a outreach for. They were helping a Make-A-Wish. It was Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was couldn't get the title off the top of my head. It was for a Make-A-Wish Foundation. It was a younger kid who was in a wheelchair and he was going through a whole bunch of surgeries and stuff. And they did a Make-A-Wish Foundation, and one of the things that he wanted was just like, I wanted a pure gaming computer. That's what he asked for. So he went to Micro Center to do it. So we opened up the doors, and Gordon Ramsay pulled up and actually paid for everything there. Cool people. He shook hands with everybody. He took a lot of pictures with everybody. He had his handlers there. He bought. I mean, it was to the point where he was like,
stuff like that.
no. But people got the perception of Gordon Ramsay like, oh, he's this hard dude. He's a celebrity. He mean much. No, he's one of the nicest dudes. He came, pulled up, shook hands with everybody. He's like, look, y'all want coffee and stuff? I'm getting coffee for my team. Y'all want something? He got coffee for that whole building.
Because he's not at work.
But it's not even that. He was just like, but he's cool people.
But
you know, certain people are like, certain celebs are, for lack of a better term, they're stuck up because they know they're celebrities, so they act like. And I've been around a lot of celebrities, but
Jean-Claude Van Damme was like that.
Yeah, but he, on the other hand, you would think that he would be stuck up, and he's not. He was like one of the most down to earth people that I have met as far as like celebs concerned. I met a lot of them. And he's real cool.
But I like seeing stuff like that. Celebrities coming on, taking it, paying for stuff.
I mean, the cake that they had, he made that cake from scratch. Oh, you best believe he's gonna try that cake.
It's all right.
You know, we was critiquing like a mug too. You know, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. We was critiquing that up. We was critiquing like a mug.
Actually,
and that was not that long ago. That was maybe like about 4 or 5 years ago.
And that's one thing I learned from my grandfather is, if you had an opportunity to make a lot of money like that, do something good with it.
Oh no, you give back.
He always said it's good to have, but it's good to give back.
Yeah, you always give
so
back.
So if I was in that position of fame, I want to do something for my, not just for the community and general people.
You always reach out to people as much.
That's why I like when it was funny you mentioned, I remember watching a video of T.I. when he went at a Target and, told all the mothers who was doing all the Christmas shopping, whatever gift you want, I'm finna pay for everything.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I like seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, because certain people will do it. I mean, usually like certain artists, certain actors, certain people, they just, they're good like that. There's certain ones who ain't. I'm going to keep it tall with you. But there's good ones out there too. But this is why I say, just don't put your fake this is the one I have to idolize. Don't do that. Don't do that either.
No. And I think that's a lot of people.
And I know what a lot of people do. Don't do that either. Just understand that there is a lot of good people out there doing their thing. I know that was that kind of slid off script a little bit, but that's but that is definitely what we do on our podcast if y'all been following along.